your martial arts movie podcast.
I threw that shit before I walked in the room.
Featuring drunken Thai boxer Will.
Too bad you will die.
The also drunken wrestler Mark.
I said I don't want trouble.
And drunken karate master Zero.
You've lost your balls.
And now,
I know Kung Fu. You know, baby.
Fists of Fail.
What did we talk about? We talked about Skinny Tiger and Fatty Dragon, a couple weeks ago? And I guess we're back on the Sammo Hung train of really poorly written female characters.
You think so?
Well, okay, one poorly written female character. Okay, let me back up once again. Let me say that this is like that late 80s era. Sammo Hung was doing a whole series of movies that was just didn't really shine a good light in terms of how women were treated in the movies.
Or portrayed, maybe.
Portrayed, yeah. Now, I don't know if it's Sammo Hung specifically, but I've noticed it's just anytime Sammo was in the movie, it's like it always just happened. So,
Well, he is the producer of this as well, so he probably has some sort of sway into the production. But who knows? With that being said, we're talking about She Shoots Straight, a 1990s Girls with Guns movie.
Yeah.
We haven't
wow.
covered one of these in a while.
Yeah.
Right?
Holy crap. Years, plural, maybe? Damn. Yeah, this is a genre that I would love to have talked about more, but I guess we just haven't gotten around to it. Maybe in the following year we'll get to it more. But yeah, this is She Shoots Straight, directed by Corey Yuen. And yeah, this is a movie that you and I technically watched a long time ago, and we kind of passed on it. We decided not to do a full episode on this.
We felt that although we did like the finale with all the action that happens much, much later in the film, it didn't fit our format because there just wasn't enough fights. But we're on Haya. We're on the Haya streaming service. We have, as we're getting close to the end of the year, we're trying to find content to fit into the remaining weeks because just slight spoiler for our podcast, we might be shifting what we're doing in terms of content. So basically what we have left to work with, I'm just like, all right, let's I know this is a good one. I know I did like the movie. I do think it doesn't have quite enough action compared to our other conversations, but we talked about Iceman, and there's no way I would ever fucking talk about that movie. So here we are. We have slim pickings at this point.
You can hear the desperation in both our voices at this point. Yeah. Well, this is not a terrible movie by any stretch. It's an entertaining film, at least I think. But I will say I don't remember anything about this movie. Watching it again in preparation for today's episode, what felt like a new experience.
You mean you completely forgot about all the drama that happens in the almost exact middle of the movie?
I can probably tell you that my first response to the movie would have probably been the same as my most recent one, which is the sister character is insufferable.
Yes, yes. I was thinking that as well. Sister character played by Karina Lau. So there is a family, I actually don't know how many sisters. I want to say like 4 or 5 sisters. Maybe 5 sisters and a mother. And Joyce Cadenzi, who is our main character, also the wife of Sammo Hung, she plays the titular character, Inspector Mina. And she marries into this family full of women, and they all pretty much resent her and do not like her.
Well, there's only really one sister who she's also like the second protagonist, I guess. Another main character that you follow along. You failed to mention that Joyce Cadenzi married Tony Leung Ka-fai. God damn, I'm definitely not gonna. He's the the only boy of the family, and basically like every sibling in this family has become a cop, right? And he's all, but at the same time, he's the only one who can possibly pass on the family name. So there's this really horribly dated scene where
Oh yeah.
he is poking holes in condoms so he can impregnate his wife.
Oof.
And I was
Yeah,
like, holy shit.
Not a good look.
That is not charming.
And he needs to be the likable character. Like he
Yeah.
really needs to be the likable character for story reasons.
She's like, no, we can't we can't have a baby yet. I'm focused on my career. And he's like, oh, fuck your career.
Fuck your career. My family name needs a baby.
Yeah, and then she shifts over and oh, whatever. I mean, then more story happens. But on topic of story, there's very little of it in this movie. It's a very simple story.
Yeah, it is the butting of heads of Joyce Gadenzi and Karina Lau because they all technically work together, and Karina Lau has this resentment towards her also because I believe Joyce Gadenzi is technically her superior after an operation that they're all involved in the beginning of the movie where they thwart the kidnapping of a princess. So Joyce Gadenzi gets promoted, and then that causes strife between kind of everybody in the family because they are now all going to go on another mission together, which is baffles me. That is like a huge conflict of interest. That should absolutely never
They should
happen.
be in different departments.
I know,
Like,
I know.
They shouldn't even work in the same precinct.
Yeah, because Joyce Gadenzi and her husband are co-leading this sort of bust sting investigation with the sisters underneath them reporting to them as superiors, and it's just a whole big fucking can of worms that should just not happen.
Yeah, although I will say the other sister characters, they are relegated to very, very much like low supporting characters. They're not really important at all. And you know, it really is essentially about Joyce, Karina, and the husband character played by Tony Leung. I'm just gonna call him Tony.
That's fine.
Yeah, and then you know, Sammo's in the movie, but he's also like every time I watch the film, I'm like, what are you even doing here? Like, there's really no point to his character.
He's spying on his wife. That's all he's doing. He's like, wait, are you trying to film a sex scene? He's like, get the fuck out of here.
For those of you who don't know, Sammo and Joyce are actually married in real life.
Still married to this day?
Still, yeah, I think so, yeah. But yeah, like Sammo is just in the movie, but he's, I think according to, at least on IMDb, he's top billed, but he's like not really in the movie much. Honestly, he didn't really need to be in the film whatsoever. Yeah, and then Yuen Wah is the villain of the film. He is a Vietnamese gun runner, I guess. Well, he just bought a whole bunch of guns. He buys a bunch of guns in the movie, and then afterwards he tries to do some sort of like major heist, and that gets botched, and then it basically becomes a back and forth revenge story.
Yeah, revenge, then reverse revenge.
Yeah, and then more reverse revenge. reverse Uno.
Speaking of Vietnamese, so we have been watching films on Haya, and we haven't really been updating on how we feel about the platform so much because it's generally been a smooth experience to us complaining about maybe similar things in other movies. So I just wanted to point out that whenever the language of Vietnamese is spoken, they don't subtitle it. So you don't know what the fuck they're saying.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating because yes, it's not the main dialect being spoken, but there are times when some characters are speaking to each other in Vietnamese and nothing. Don't know what's being said. You can kind of assume maybe, but then there are times when yes, something is being said to another character and I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
I wonder how important it is that like what details we're missing. Because like that, but like there isn't too much Vietnamese that's being spoken like at all. But there are some scenes where characters will speak to one another. I'm like, wait, what? Well, you can fix all that by watching this in the English dub, which I also watched too. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, and then everyone speaks English. That doesn't matter. They wrote around that. But anywho, there in terms of the movie, it's very simple. It's very straightforward. It's a little light on the action. That's not true. There's actually a lot of action in the movie, but in terms of martial arts action, it really isn't a lot of it. Like, but at least it ends on a high note, right?
You know what's weird? Yes, Madam is considered the first girls with guns movie,
Mm-hmm.
and that has more martial arts than girls actually using guns.
Okay, yeah.
So it's kind of funny that the genre went with that name after that movie,
Mm-hmm.
because She Shoots Straight feels more in line with the girls with guns, because I feel more often, because they're police officers, they're willing to shoot firearms and use guns in this movie, especially Joyce Cadenzi in the end. As a police officer, it makes sense that she went into the final battle with a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Where where her sister-in-law goes in with like double machetes. And I was like, you have firearms. Don't you want the tactical advantage here?
Yeah, but that's why they call this the girls with machetes genre. So, well, like if it was everything, if it was just nonstop gunplay, then I don't think it would have the same level of engagement. This movie doesn't excel with the gunplay, in my opinion, but it does, and it's in terms of fighting, there's one major fight that we'll talk about later in the episode, but one thing that stood out in the movie for me was the stunt work. I was genuinely impressed by the stunt work, especially given that we give Joyce a lot to do. We give a lot of the actors a lot to do. And for the most part, like whenever Joyce is actually doing or her character's doing stunts, whenever it's not her doing a crazy drop, you can see her actually performing the stunts. It's pretty nuts. It's like, wow. Way to go, Sammo, for just putting your wife in danger.
There's one stunt, one of the major, trailer showcasing stunts, where she rides after the bad guys in a motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
They blow up, obviously, some canisters that are explosive, and she drives through the flames.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember seeing that the first time, and I remember kind of laughing, because when she goes through the flames, she's just, I don't think she's covered in fire retardant gel, because I don't think that was invented at the time, but I think they probably soaked her up, as some sort of protection. And I remember thinking, I was like, that's really random that she just looks soaking wet going through it. But then rewatching it, I realized that the motorcycle that had fallen over had knocked over, I think, like a fire hydrant, and water was shooting up or something like that. So I remember thinking like, oh, okay, that's why she's soaking wet. Okay, that's a nice little detail that I fucking missed the first time.
Yeah. It's a great stunt scene, where they of course there's as she's chasing the villains, like a vehicle gets shot at and explodes right next to her, and she just drives past the flames, very much like Terminator 2. I got those flashbacks from like when Arnold was coming. Oh, not Arnold, but
well, this technically
I guess Arnold. Yeah.
Terminator 2.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it does. Yeah. And Hong Kong wasn't very well known for dealing with pyrotechnics in the safest manner. Go back to listening to Jude Porter talk about his time on what was that movie?
A Man Called Hero.
There we go. There you go. That masterpiece that you love. Yeah. So like it's interesting, but at the same time, like you can tell, like you can actually see her character like going as she's going through the flames. Her head is like ducked into the.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I'm curious if she really went through those flames or not. I mean, I don't know. We're not gonna find out until we get more detailed, audio commentaries that may be coming out soon. I'm not saying from us. I'm saying from other people.
Sure. Oh, I'm very curious. But yeah, I don't really talk about the story more in detail, but there's really not much story. I will say though there is one particular scene in the movie that once we get to it, the movie just slows to a snail's crawl. It is so slow. And, it's at the halfway mark.
Yep.
A character dies. And like movie just, it's practically just filler.
I would heavily disagree with you on that.
Really?
Partially. Because, so, when you have action movies and you have action movie fans, when I look at some of these reviews, I try not to look at them. And sometimes, as you're looking through stuff, you see them. You see like, oh, I loved it. It was great until they started talking. Or until somebody died and everybody was sad. That was so boring. It's like, oh, come on, man. You need drama. You need some drama.
Oh, no, I agree with you. But it didn't need to be that long. It was very long.
Yeah, it does.
So long.
It does go a little long. I did like it. It's a little hard to talk about it because it's, it's very spoilery. I don't want to spoil it. But I will say, so they set up this strife between Karina and Joyce Cadenzi. And the whole time I was like, man, Karina Lau, like, she's a fucking bitch. Like, she is just unforgiving. She's so aggressive towards Joyce Cadenzi. I kept on thinking, like, man, like, I really, really don't like her. I really don't like her. Yep. And then, miraculously, towards the end of the movie, I was like, oh, wow. Like, you have a change of heart with this character because of the struggles that they go through. And ultimately, I was like, yeah, I hope you guys get the bad guy. I hope, you get your justice for what happened between the two of you, because, like, all the drama that happens afterwards, and then all the really unnecessary, like, taunting and revenge that Yunhua does. It's like, it's so over the top. I was like, oh man, you gotta die. Like, it's just, it's too over the top. I can't.
It's over the top, and it's kind of funny.
It is. It really, really is funny, and it does. It's kind of needed because it changes that whole dramatic tone that happens halfway through the movie.
Yeah. Karina Lau's character is so unlikable, and then she, royally fucks up, and then after that said, sad moment in the movie, she ceases to be a character. I noticed.
Well, she's along for the ride to team up with Joyce Cadenzi to get revenge. Because at that point, they are no longer characters. They are vehicles for getting revenge and enacting it on Yunhua. And then also Agnes Aurelio. So I wanted to point out Agnes because she's the final boss. And when you hear of Yunhua in a movie, you usually think, if you're familiar with martial arts films, that it's a great fighter, one of the original Seven Little Fortunes. And in every movie I've seen him in, I believe he's always had a fight scene. So
he does in
very surprising,
super short,
that he doesn't have a full-fledged fight scene. Sure. And considering he's technically the main villain throughout basically the whole movie, he doesn't end it, right? It's kind of like a switcheroo.
I'm thinking of other movies where he's been in. He's pegged as the the main antagonist, but then it turns out that he doesn't really have too much, like Super Cop, right? Police Story 3.
Right. Well, Police Story 3 is interesting because that's more of a stunt. Like big kind of stunt ending as opposed to a final fight between it.
Yeah. But even then, it's he's in the movie, but then he kind of gets taken out of the movie relatively early. But I think ultimately, you still get a lot of Yunhua-isms in there. Like he's a great acrobat and great stunt person. He does some really. There's one particular stunt that I really liked in the movie where he actually it doesn't have much. The rest of the fight isn't really worth talking about, but there's one moment where he jumps out of a window and lands on several awnings before crashing on the floor. It's just crazy. It's like all in one take. It's like you can clearly see his face. And as he's tumbling around, falling to the ground, he still has the level of dexterity to shoot.
Yep.
he's like shooting back upwards towards the window. I'm like, damn, like he has like all this aerial awareness. I'm like, the dude's crazy. But yeah, like ultimately it turns into the final fight is between Agnes and Joyce, and yeah, it's definitely something that like it's definitely the highlight of the film. But that's not to say that the rest of the movie isn't deprived of good action. I do think
I like the stuff that happens on the boat. Like, surprisingly, I like the stuff that Karina Lau does a little more in terms of fight choreography. I think that stuff is a little more complicated.
Sure.
Probably because they were saving the more intense choreography for Joyce for the finale.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing that's probably what happened. So they didn't want to give her too much on the boat. And at the end, when she fights Agnes, that is fucking 2 women beating the shit out of each other. A lot of people say that's probably one of the best girl-on-girl fights. I would say because of the very, very brutal hits that they give each other and Agnes's stunt person receives.
Yeah.
It does. I think it does hold that title a little bit. Yeah, for one of the best girl on girl fights.
I never really ranked these before. I mean, in terms of girl on girl, like I don't. Oh wait, no, we're talking about fight scenes. No, no, I do like the fight a lot. And it kind of steals the show. And yes, the movie is kind of backloaded in terms of like the best action in the movie, but like throughout the movie, early in the film, it's sprinkled with good action throughout. So like you're never disengaged, with the exception of maybe that one particular moment that just goes on a little too long. But like it's an easy watch in my opinion.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just so,
sitting through this was great. But in terms of the earlier action, it is more gunplay. Korien is pretty competent when it comes to martial arts direction, but I'm not the craziest when it comes to his gunplay stuff. Like I can't really even recall like a good gunplay moment that he's done. So here it's serviceable, I would say. Best.
I'd say it's just subpar. You know, there's nothing memorable about the gunplay. I don't even care about the gunplay honestly. Like because a lot of times it's just like shot, reverse shot, like this person's shooting and then you kind of see the reverse of that. It's back and forth, and there's nothing too memorable about that. I'm more interested in the stunts. Like up to a certain point the movie is just very heavy on the impressive stunt work from the actual actors, and then like towards the end of the movie it just becomes like a full-fledged martial arts movie. So it's like, oh yeah, it takes a sudden shift, but it's good. And it keeps my engagement throughout the whole time, and it helps that this movie is so simple. It's so simple. There's nothing to it. Like it's not a freaking like what was the last movie we watched? Actually, no, I feel like in the last couple movies we've been watching, I'm like I have trouble just explaining the synopsis itself. And here's like great, perfect, such a simple plot.
Right. You got bad guys. They do something bad. They want revenge on you. You want revenge on them. Like, yes. Just please give me these like simple stories sometimes. Yeah. I don't mind it. I know. Like when we talked about Bad City or like a
oh my god, yeah.
Or like a Tower of Death. It's just like they're just going like all over the fucking place. Like, oh, stop it.
Yeah, remember when the villain, like back in the 80s when villains could just be villains? There's no complexity to them at all. It's just they're bad guy. Go kill bad guy. But all right, I do want to talk about this more in detail. So I guess this is where we would normally go into the action and story breakdown with all the spoilers. So if you guys are interested in hearing all about that, you can subscribe to us on Patreon, and you'll get all the content, including the quick jab episodes that we do once a week, where we talk about movies that didn't make into full-fledged episodes. This movie was right on the cusp of being one of those, but I'm glad we can finally talk about this in greater detail. So if you're interested in that, consider subscribing. Anything else you want to add, Zero?
No, let's get into it.
All right, let's talk about She Shoots Straight.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the podcast. We're at the point where we give our recommendations, but there's a whole wealth of audio you would be listening to here if you follow us on Patreon. There you can listen to the entire episode, including an exclusive action breakdown of the fights in the movie. And now on to our final thoughts.
Yeah, so that's She Shoots Straight. Yeah, easy movie to sit through, easy movie to talk about. I don't really have much else to say about that. It's is I'd still say that there would have been a better chance that this would have made it into a quick jab if it weren't for the fact that we were doing Haya specifically. But I do like this movie. I do think it was very entertaining. I like the final fight a lot. There's a lot of little good things that go on in the movie throughout. But I don't know. At the same time, I'm kind of happy that we talked about it in more detail, right?
Yeah, it's well the problem too is like a lots of the good stuff that happens in the movie, at least for me anyway, it's in that spoiler territory because because of the drama and whatnot. And I don't want to spoil that for anybody who hasn't seen it. So like yeah, it's a little difficult to talk about it without getting into that stuff. So that's why we kind of had to put that into the Patreon section, obviously. But as you said, everything you said, it's so easy to sit through these 90-minute movies. Like I miss them. I miss 90-minute movies after sitting through like fucking 3-hour Oppenheimer. I'm just like, oh god, just give me something simple and to
the fights in that movie aren't as good.
No, not as good. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but this movie is very straightforward, and I do miss movies like this every once in a while. So yeah, we just had to cover more '80s movies.
Well, that's
God.
Well, that's the problem. That like we were on Haya, and it feels like the '80s stuff, at least from what I can see, very quick glance. Like I feel like doesn't fit our format. Well, I mean we're past that point really now, but. I mean, because we did, Skinny Tiger, Fatty Dragon, and then now we're doing this, and it feels like there's not that many '80s stuff that we generally like.
Well, I'd say that what Haya offers in terms of old school '70s, well, maybe not '70s. Well, they're just talking about '80s, right? '80s, and I'll count this as '80s too, because this is probably filmed in the '80s. Like that stuff is kind of harder to find on Haya. They don't have as much. Like they have '80s films, but like martial arts '80s films, it feels like I can probably count them with just one hand. So there's not that much that we can really choose from, which is unfortunate because there's a whole breed of us out there who just like love the '80s Hong Kong action scene and or martial arts action scene, and that's. We come to Haya and we kind of like expect some of that too. Like it's not just the modern films, right?
Well, I think the issue is that because a lot of people tend to like the Hong Kong stuff, '80s and '90s, it's just getting probably picked up for distribution on media, DVD, Blu-ray. So they don't want to give it to a streaming service. They want to print Blu-rays with special features and audio commentary and all that stuff. Probably makes them more so. Because those are more popular now, I guess. Maybe they're just not going to go to streaming services.
Oh, I don't know. That this alone will not be a sufficient Haya review, but I will say that does feel like it's like another negative I would point out in terms of Haya, but. Back to She Shoots Straight, I'd say, easy recommend. It's if you are gonna watch anything on Haya and it's on the older variety, I'd say go check it out. Very easy to sit through. You could probably just go to the bathroom and come back, and when they go they do the drama scene because it goes on a little too long.
I don't know. For me, it's fine. I thought it was appropriate, but if you listen to the Patreon section, there's a moment where I say like, okay, that's where it should have cut.
Yeah. I don't know. Check it out. I don't have anything else to say. You?
It's very easily a recommend because story wise, like at first you hate this girl, played by Karina Lau, and then because of story reasons. You kind of warm up there because you want her to get revenge in the end. And like when she teams up with Joyce Cadenzi, I was like, cool, kill that guy, kill Yunhua. I hope you guys fucking get him in the end. So, and then the earlier stuff with the fights, it's not really that many. It's the end where I like the choreography better, and then when it's Joyce Cadenzi and it's Agnes Aurelio when they fight, fucking brutal hits, lots and lots of brutal hits. Didn't mention it because we really highlighted it in the Patreon section, but yeah, so many great kicks to female anatomy that if you were a woman watching this, you would probably feel that pain as well. So I don't know, Will. Do you think this is aptly named, that final fight? Do you think it's aptly named like one of the best female girl on girl fights?
Maybe in recent memory. Yeah, actually, no. I haven't thought too deeply about it, but yeah, I definitely think it's worth putting on a list. I don't know. How about you?
Yeah. The problem is like
Number 1?
I can't think of any other girl on girl fights.
Oh, maybe that's what it is then.
Besides Crouching Tiger, like that one just is always on the top of lists.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, hey, here's
yeah, but
number
they
2.
pick each other in the boobs in that movie. No.
That's what it was missing.
Yeah,
that's what Crouching Tiger
movie's
was missing.
0 out of 10.
Michelle Yeoh and Zhang Ziyi do not kick each other in the vag and the boobs. Why did that win Oscars? Who knows?
Yeah. Fuck that movie. God.